Okay, so I'm Awais Qasim from Department of Microbiology, Quaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad. Here I'm doing research on bacteria, and specifically I'm doing research in environmental microbiology. And today our purpose here is to share my experience from the Global Young Scientist Summit. I had been there in the third week of January, and it was a wonderful event there in Singapore, and it's meant for young scientists. So today we will see that who are young scientists from Pakistan, uh, because there were like young scientists from around 32 countries, and approximately 350 delegates were there in the summit. And it's actually the GYSS, known by the GYSS Global Young Scientist Summit. It happens every year in Singapore, and it is organized by the Deputy Prime Minister Office, Singapore. This time the summit was in Singapore University of Technology and Design. So in Pakistan, MS, MPhil, and PhD scholars, postdoc fellows in every, like if there's assistant professor in the early years, so he can also apply, because young scientist, I think its limit is to 35 years. And some in some researches and some applications, they can give you relaxation up to 38 or 40 years. But here in the Young Scientist Summit, they allow up to postdoc fellows. And one professor I met, because he was too young for the assistant professor position, but he recently did postdoc from Japan, and he now assistant professor in Japan, and he was there in the Young Summit as a young scientist. And beside this, any graduate fellow in research outside academia, like if he is doing research in industry side, so he can also attend this Young Summit. But there are some limitations, we will be talking about it, and we can actually address those limitations. So what are the benefits of Global Young Scientist Summit? There's something like they will ask you to post your picture and your like to tweet something, uh, and use hashtag of fusion in session. What is mean by fusion in session? Like they believe in collaborations, bright young individuals, and they actually give the chance to them to interact with and engage with the top minds around the globe. And literally, it was the best minds there in the GYSS summit, because 21 Nobel laureates were there, some field medal specialists were there, Millennium Prize winners were there, and from the like the top institutions around the world. So the guests are eminent scientists and Nobel laureates, and they actually more focus on collaborations among young scientists, because if you know, like there are plenty of global challenges we are facing, and specifically if we are talking about the third world countries, so there are a lot more challenges to us, and then we are facing here, and they actually want to know that how young scientists in Pakistan, in India, in every developing country and developed country, because there is actually a dilemma that the world is divided into two things, like it's a die-cart world. If you want to transform it to a monocart world, their science may play a critical role here, because the developed countries, they are developed because of the science. They have embraced the science in the early years of their developing, and now in Pakistan we are now, I think we are adapting science. We are not so much slow in that, but we have to work a little bit more. So collaboration is the key point in Global Young Scientist Summit. Like I have collaborated, I can say collaborated, but I have exchanged my number. I have networked with more than 20 scientists, and they are belonging to different countries, ranging from India, in Germany, Switzerland, US, New Zealand, and uh, Cambridge University specifically, because I was so interested in Cambridge. For the PhD, there is tumor immunology, and I have interacted with some students there, postdoc, and that they gave me actually some way how to get into the Cambridge, and it is the ultimate benefit of the Global Young Scientist Summit, that you go there and hunt some opportunities for you. And collaborations, if we talk about collaborations, I have tweeted and I have mentioned a fellow scientist from the Oxford University. He is doing research in biosecurity, dual use research of concern, and he is there in the Future of Humanity Institute. And I just mentioned him in the tweet, and he directly contacted me that if I want some help to get into the postdoc there, to MPhil or PhD there in Oxford, he may help me. Like that was the actual benefit to me. I just mentioned him in my post, and he directly reached to. So what are there in the Global Young Scientist Summit? The Global Young Scientist, there are plenty of plenary sessions. In the plenary sessions, there like the guest speaker talks. You can see here this one. This lady is from Oxford University. Her name is Alison Ullard, and she is a famous science communicator in UK. She is a TV. She runs a TV show. I think I forgot the name exactly, but it's something the UK Royal Society or something, and she's very famous scientist in UK. And her lecture was about science communication, because I believe, and everyone believe, actually there was a saying of a scientist that science is not finished until it is communicated. So young scientists must play a role in science communication nowadays, because if we want to remove the gap and bridge the community to the scientist, so young scientists can play their role. Then there will be panel discussions in Global Young Scientist Summit, like as we had in the 2023 one. And the topics for panel discussions here were fruits of curiosity, random things may surprise you, and should scientists comment on community or not, and some science communications were there. So from this one, this is a moderator called Jeannie Tate, and she's a chief librarian in Singapore. Then the Professor Alison Ullard, a science communication specialist and a researcher in, I think, in biochemistry. Yeah. And then this one is in physics. He's from France. And this one, the smiling face, he is actually from the Cambridge University. His name is David Klinnerman, and he is a next generation sequencing specialist. And his company name is Solixa. He actually designed some next generation techniques there. So we actually enjoyed the science. Should scientists comment on community or not? Because if you see here, their titles are so interesting. Their title, they can attract you. Like random things may surprise you. Let me tell you that it was all about the particle physics and maths, and there was no connection between my field and this one. But I like enjoyed, sort of enjoy, because the title was so attractive and it attracted me. And then I went there and sat for an hour and enjoyed interacting with the Nobel laureates there. And then science communication, I have asked some questions that being a biosecurity fellow, I am concerned with the dark side of the technologies, and actually because we are going through the era which is called open science era. And in this thing, if you publish some research which comes under the umbrella of dual use research of concern, then uh, I think, Akit, you should you should check again. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, Avas, you're audible.
Okay. I think, Akif, you should check the internet connection, because I'm audible to other persons. So let's move forward, because we'll be winding up. So then the third part is young scientist presentation. Like you must submit the video pitch of your research in 90 seconds. They will ask you to like pitch is something. Pitch of research is something where you summarize your research in 90 seconds. In short, we can say that. So I have submitted the video pitch, and it's available on my YouTube. I will share the link, but you can search it GYSS video pitch or something. It will be available there. And in 90 seconds, you will have to summarize your research. And based on this video pitch, they will select you for the oral presentations. So eight presenters, actually they select eight presenters for summit, and this time I luckily I made it into the list of eight presenters out of the 350 young scientists. And then 10 to 15 poster presentations are also there, and it's also very competitive because from all the countries, PhD students mostly come to this summit. And I was, I think, the only one from the masters and from Pakistan as well, because all the persons, when I asked some of the young scientists, they were all PhDs. Like from India, seven were from the Shivanathan University, and they were all PhD in space science and biological, cancer, and other oncology and other fields. So this one you can participate in this one. Like for young scientists, this is the opportunity. Then there is a social program in Global Young Scientist Summit. Like I have selected the city tour, so they have facilitated us, and they actually like they will give you a free city tour in bus or car. And this place behind me is called Marina by the Bay Restaurant. It's one of the most expensive restaurants of the world. And here you can say in this picture, science brings us closer, I believe, because there in this picture you can see from this person is from Vietnam, I'm from Pakistan, and this lady is from Malaysia, and these three are from Bhutan. Such jolly persons from there. So we enjoyed a lot. And the place where I'm standing, this is called Merlin Park. And this place is actually the most famous place of Singapore. Everyone, if someone goes to Singapore, he must visit this place. Either like otherwise, like one will say that he is not familiar with Singapore, or we can say other things. Now come to the point that how you can go for the next. Like this is the exciting part. How you can attend the next Global Young Scientist Summit from Pakistan. So there are two things is these links. This one is the link of Global Young Scientist Summit platform, and this one is the NACE. So in Pakistan, let me tell you that young scientists are selected, and actually they are nominated by the NACE, National Academy of Young Scientists. Their office based in the National Scientific Science and Technology Park in NUST, and the president is Dr. Aftab Ahmed. He was a nice person. He was so nice to us, and he managed all the things with us. He guided us actually. And Tabinda Salman, I think Dr. Tabinda, yeah, she actually looks into these matters. So we had a communication with her on email. And they actually select five young scientists for the physical attendance, and 20 young scientists for the virtual selection, like the virtual attendance. So luckily I was one of the five list. Pakistani scientists, like you should, I think you should go to the nays.com and drop your email there, and you will be added to the email subscription group, and you will receive their emails at the like for every event and for everything. They will email you, and then you will apply to the nays, and they will then select you, and then they will recommend your name to the GYSS, and then you will again be applying and like putting the application to the GYSS after this recommendation, because it doesn't guarantees your participation in the Global Young Scientist Summit. Anyhow, like if they recommend you, so I think it's done, because when they recommended me, they also told me that it's not guaranteed, but I was so sure because they recommend only five persons and they are their partners. And then we made it to a list of the young scientists there as well. And in the Young Scientist Summit platform, you will have to submit your research in 120 words, the whole research. And there is another thing. If you're a Pakistani scientist and, for example, early career researcher, and if you're not involved in active ongoing research project, and you don't have any data, and you and like you want to attend a summit but don't have any data to present, it's okay. You can attend it as attendee as well, because we were five from Pakistan and only I was the presenter there. And it doesn't matter if you have presentation or not. You can attend it, and you can. No, it's not necessary. Like you can be a member of NAS or you are not, but you are a student in Pakistan, and there must be a studentship record with you. For example, if you having the student card are there in another document. You can ask your department. They will give you a studentship record. Proof of studentship. It's called proof of studentship. You can ask them. They will give you, and it's sometimes it's required in other applications as well. So you must have that. And then, so we talked about this, that you will be applying to GYSS as well. Then the application for GYSS. Like when I was applying, these were the questions. Title of my research projects completed are in progress, are in process. So I have presented my preliminary data because I'm working in master's to the one master's student here in Qaid-e-Azam. So I had some data of my research, own research, and I put it, compiled it, and submitted it. And then briefly describe your research work, and this was the question as well. And then why do you want to participate in Global Young Scientist Summit 2023? So you will be more specific that why they select you. And then how can you use your skills as a young scientist to address rising global issues? Because keep in mind that it's a Global Young Scientist Summit, so the global issues will be in your mind. Because as a young scientist, how you contribute to a society, how you think globally, and how you act locally. Like there is a word called globalization. Globalization means that you are acting locally, but the impact of your research and your thinking is far beyond the boundaries, far beyond the borders. So this question is very important. And then CV, and then proof of studentship, as I talked about it. These two questions, like describe your research work. Everyone can describe his or her research work easily, but these two questions are very tricky. That why do you want to participate, and how can you use your research skills? Let me tell you another thing. I applied to a job when I first joined the master degree, and there were questions in the application like what is the impact of science and technology on humans. And there is a lot of debates on the Doha debate. Actually, Doha debate is a channel, and there is a debate on science and technology. Is it the answer to the global peace, the world peace, or not? Because some people think that technology is actually ruining our life and ruining the resources, and the AI, like the artificial intelligence, it may stand out from the human race, and it's danger, it's dangerous for us. But there are a lot of positive side of technology, so you must study this topic thoroughly because it's very important topic when you are applying for a scholarship, a PhD or master scholarship. It will help you because like there are a lot of vocabulary in this one as well. And I have just mentioned that there's a mono dicart word, as I heard it in some interview of a scientist on Doha debate. And then I said that we can transform the dicart word into the monocart, but through science. And being a young scientist, how I contribute to society. My contribution to society actually up till now is I'm a science communicator, and I go randomly to schools and colleges when I'm on vacation, and I randomly go there and talk to the principal and deliver my talk there on science, how scientists like live the life, how scientists manage the work with family, and how science is amazing for us, how science can help us, how science is shaping the future, how science can help us in preventing the infectious diseases, how can science can help us transforming our transportation system and other things. So these are the it's my curiosity, and it should be your curiosity as well, that how I'm contributing to society. Being a master student, like I have 18 years education now, I think I should contribute to society. If I'm not contributing, it's my fault. I shouldn't wait to PhD or postdoc. And after PhD and postdoc, if you are teaching somewhere and you are taking salary, it's not that kind of contribution. You should contribute voluntarily to something. And let me tell you that voluntary activities in your CV actually, it strengthens your CV and your case everywhere. There is a scientist in US. His name is Ayaz Khan. He's from Pakistan, and there is an MR scientist. And a lot of his videos on YouTube you can find how to make CV and how he is actually a mentor. And he told me that you should actually merge, and you should add the volunteer teaching experience and specifically elementary school experience to your CV. It will strengthen you for the US. Then there's another thing. and it's like we can say it's the issue for us how to resolve it, because if you are selected for the Global Young Scientist Summit, the travel grant will be a great hurdle for you to attend it, because they don't give travel grant, and NAS is also don't like they are not providing you a travel grant. And I actually had a travel grant from the EU HSP, because I'm Biosecurity Champions Fellow with the Health Security Partner, so they provided me. But there are three things, like in the government, you can go to Pakistan Science Foundation. They have travel grants for students, and then HEC has some travel grants for students, and then ORIC of your department, Office of Research, Industrialization, and Office of Research, Innovation, and Commercialization. It's in every university. You can go there and ask them for a travel grant, and maybe they have travel grants for students, for scientists, but you may ask. And then in private things, you can go to Nestle, because if you're doing some research on water, Nestle is actually producing travel grants and other things. And then chemical suppliers, for example, if you are doing work in the lab, and there must be like Thermo Fisher as there, and there is Musajian Adams. These are the chemical suppliers to our labs in biology sections. So you will ask your supervisor, and she will ask, or he will ask, the chemical suppliers to sponsor your visit. And it's the case, like they actually sponsor your visit, because you are taking chemical supplements and other things from them. So they are very likely to give you travel grant. And then I have mentioned here some of the partners in this summit. You can see here National Research Foundation, Prime Minister Office, Singapore, and this is Ministry of Education. This one is National University of Singapore, Nanyang University, Singapore University of Technology and Design, then Asia Biospectrum, and these things you can reach to them, reach out, and you can ask them for travel grants, because you will say that I'm a young scientist from Pakistan and I have been selected for the Global Young Scientist Summit 2024, and but I'm being a student, I have no financial support. I will all be managing from my pocket, and it would be a great help for me to me if you provide me a travel grant for this one. And all the things are actually provided by the summit and the event secretariat, but only the travel grant is remaining. So they will they will provide you. I think they will provide you, but the travel grant section is not clear. You must search all the things. In private, there are a lot of like Unilever is there, Nestle is there, so Coca-Cola is there. A lot of the companies, they are providing travel grants for young scientists, but you will be connecting your research with their logo, with their motto and other things, so you can have travel grant, and the university may also provide you. So I think this was all about the Global Young Scientist Summit. And if you have any question to me, you can ask. And one thing, if you are going for the Young Scientist Summit or every conference abroad, so you must keep in mind that you are representing Pakistan, because if you are doing a little bit mistake there, so all the things they will blame Pakistan. So I have experienced something there, and so actually we tried our best to represent our Pakistan in a good way, and we were quite successful actually, because we talked to people and we invited them, and they were so like. And another thing, I was wearing my cultural dress, Pakistani cultural dress, and it was so appealing to them, and they actually asked me for pictures and for other things, and they discussed with me about Pakistan, because I was representing the thing. So I think you must keep in mind that if you are going somewhere, you should represent Pakistan. And oh, the Global Young Scientist Summit 24 will be in the January, because it's every year they announce it, and it's in the second or third week of January it will happen. So if anyone have question, feel free to ask, because we have gathered here just to.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Am I audible or not?
Yes, you are audible.
I want to ask that how one should prepare yourself for the upcoming GYSS 2024. Because if someone is in like they have newbie in the field or not so much expert in the field or so much experience, so how should they prepare yourself for the upcoming GYSS 2024? Like which activities they should engage or what should you recommend to these students?
Okay, I got your point. We have 9 minutes left, so I'll be a bit in hurry. So there is actually, for example, I believe in delayed gratification. There is a saying from the book, which is called Atomic Habit, that the last mile is the least crowded. And for example, if you want to attend the GYSS 2024, you should start preparing yourself from now. And how you can prepare? You must read some books, like Atomic Habit is there, Mindfulness on the Run, and other books. That it will help you to realize the things, how the things work, and then you can merge all the learnings from the books in your CV, and it will actually, you will groom with books, and then you can discuss the things, like you can search on internet at how, what is the responsibility of young scientists, because you must be clear on your responsibility, your role. You can play in science, you can contribute to society if you're clear on these things. And I think 1 year is enough to learn these things, that how to become a good young scientist, how to contribute to society, how we can keep or pace with the emerging technologies and with the developing world. So these are the questions I think it will make you prepare for the next summit. And if you have online certifications, like you must have three, 2 to 3 or 4 online certifications. You can have it from Coursera, and it must be related to something. For example, I'm interested in science diplomacy, so I'm nowadays taking a course on global health diplomacy because I'm a biologist. So you should go for them. And another thing, there are a lot of Pakistanis who had education abroad, and now they are serving Pakistan, like professors in universities. You can sit and discuss with them, sir, how to answer the flat question. Like, it's very simple question, that why do you want to attend this Global Young Scientist Summit? But if you answer it so simply and so flat, you will get flatly rejected, because it's very tricky question. Like sometimes when you go for interview, they ask you simply that introduce yourself, and from that introduction, they actually like they guess all the things about you. So these simple questions, why do you want to attend it, and why we should select you, these questions, these are tricky questions. So you must discuss all the things with your supervisors. You can have help from them, you from teachers who had abroad experience. And obviously books, because, and another thing is, I don't believe on self-made man. So you should be taking help from your fellows and your teachers.
Thank you, Awes. I got your point.
Avias, are you hearing me?
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to know about that. How much time it take to go through the whole application? And my second question is, when a person go to join the summit, and then will he be a presenter or just will introduce himself?
So I got your question. If you want to attend this just as attendee, you can go there, because they select attendee. The main purpose of this summit is to give you a platform where you interact with the senior scientists, and they can know how you are contributing to the work. And another question, application is so simple. Like there were only 3 questions. So briefly
Okay.
describe your research work. It's like in 200 words you will be describing, and then why do you want to participate? It's also in the 150 or 200 words, and another one is also in 200 words. So I think it may take 1 hour, 1.5, because you will be answering questions. But you must prepare for it before. It may take 30 minutes to prepare.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So we have 5 minutes left. If anyone have any question, regarding the cost, the travel grants, the other things, you may reach to me after this webinar as well. And I think we can have another meetings of some other events as well. Like there's a meeting in Germany where 10 Pakistani young scientists will be meeting the Nobel Prize winners of Nobel like biology, and it's called Park Lindau meeting. I have applied to it, and in Pakistan, PIAS is actually looking into this uh, summit and this Park Lindau meeting. They will be selecting 10 young scientists, but I haven't heard from them. Looking forward to hearing. So we can discuss other things as well. There are a lot of opportunities because I have taken some certifications as well. So there are scholarships opportunities. Okay. Thank you for joining, and see you inshallah next time.
Excuse me, Awais. I have a question.
Yes, you can go.
Like I was asking about the announcement date.
The announcement date?
Yes.
I think it will be announced in after Bakr Eid. I'm not sure like what will be the date exactly, but after Bakr Eid, because we were on the vacation last time when it was announced.
Right. And thank you so much for arranging this meeting.
Let me tell you, we have 3 minutes only. You can go to the ORIC department of your university, and you can ask them to write email to the GYSS, and then there will be more chance of you, because your university will be like alone. Your university will be selecting 5 students if they partnered with the GYSS, because I'm going to ask my university. They will be like, I'll be bridging my university to GYSS, and I can also bridge your university to GYSS, but because if they are interested, let me know, because I'm now ambassador of GYSS, and they asked me to connect with different universities. So if we connect 2 to 3 universities, then 15 to 20 students may go for physical attendance, I think, next time.
Sounds cool. That sounds cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you ask your university if they are interested. We can talk to them, because
Sure.
Every student here, they can reach out to me on LinkedIn. And the name of Awais Qasim. I'm not using Facebook so often, so you can reach me on LinkedIn, Twitter. We can discuss things if your university want to partner with the GYSS.
Okay.
So we are at the end of our webinar, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, yes. Thank you for all this. Thank you.
Well,